All right, welcome in to Vision Pros Live with Jackson Callum. I'm your show host. We will be doing interviews for visionary entrepreneurs and guest leaders who are building fantastic visions out there. What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Vision Pros Live. I'm your show host, Jackson Callum, founder and CEO of First Class Business. I'm excited to have Lodro Rinzler on the stage today. He knows what it means to get out there and hustle to get his book out there. And I didn't talk about grind. I said hustle. I think that sometimes we mistake that word for overdoing it and working and over-functioning. Maybe he's been through that too. I know I have. But one of the things that he's come out with recently is another new book. This is his second book. It's called You Are Good, You Are Enough. And it talks about freeing yourself from the trap of doubt. And I think all of us face doubt. And sometimes we overlook the reality that doubt can be a very healthy thing. Like, should I get closer to that cliff or not? It's healthy doubt. But sometimes doubt traps us and actually prevents us from being our best self and being able to move forward. And so I love finding resources and people who are able to help me figure out, how do I show up as my best each and every day? So in order to help you do that, I'll mention a couple of other resources real fast. One is Journey to Wellness. If you or a loved one, specifically that is female, is struggling with your health, I highly recommend checking out what Dr. Justin and Dr. Shannon Pierce are doing. Dr. Shannon is what I will call a miracle worker. I've sent 3 people to her who had diseases or illnesses that they couldn't find a solution for. And I heard that she works miracles. And when I say works miracles, I'm being a little bit facetious here. She does the right types of testing in order to find out what's truly going on. And all 3 of those people, when I followed up with them, just raved about how much that she was able to help them when nobody else could. So if you're looking for somebody's help, I again recommend checking out Dr. Shannon Pierce. Then there's Jennifer Reed with Practice Makes Permanent. Jennifer Reed is an emotional intelligence and spiritual intelligence facilitator for corporations to help with leadership development. And she has been training for decades in the IRS. When you hear the word bureaucracy and you hear the words like corporatism, or you think of the office, I don't think there's a place that represents that more than a large government entity. So the fact that she's been there training on that, and then she has her personal connection to this is so big to me and to her, because both of us want to see the world improve our workplaces because of how much time as individuals we spend there. If we can make a difference for those people in those environments, we can have a ripple effect that does change the world for good. So definitely check out what she's up to, again, if you're looking for culture development and leadership in your organization. Then there's the Water Project. The Water Project is something that I've never been thirsty in my life. I've always had access to water. So when I came across it and somehow got interested and intrigued by it, what hit me hard was that there are millions of people in this world who don't have access to the most essential resource outside of oxygen for humans to live. And I couldn't really stop thinking about it. And then I was grateful that I saw that when you donate to a specific project through the Water Project, they send you pictures of the evidence that that project is actually coming to fruition. And I love supporting causes that are very transparent about what it is that they do. You get to see if it's a sand dam or a borehole well. But I see these kids that get these streams of water near their house, and they celebrate it like my kids celebrate Christmas Day. And so my hope is that you can lean into that with me. If you can't afford to give back to it, then just tell your friends and family about it. Bring it up in a lunch chat or a dinner chat. You never know. Even just sharing the link might lead to somebody funding several of those, and you can make a generational impact by doing just that. So if you have another cause you want us to support, then just drop it in the comments like always. And I'm always going to take a look and see what causes people are talking about and what you're bringing to fruition. I might even bring it on the show as well. It's funny, some of my guests, as soon as we get done with the show, are like, hey, I want to give back. I'm going to support that cause, again, because we just talked about it. So it does help to run your mouth more than people say it does sometimes. So let's go back to the show and helping you guys. I'm going to bring Lodro on. Lodro, welcome to Vision Pros Live, my friend.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here with you.
Absolutely. You got the applause of the dogs today. I don't know if that's coming through or not, but they're so excited you're here too. So Lodro, we're going to dive right into your vision for where you're headed. So what does your vision look like moving forward?
Yeah, I feel like with this new book in particular, You Are Good, You Are Enough, it's this whole idea that when people start to understand that they are maybe not inherently messed up, not inherently bad or unbroken, that they can contact a sense of goodness, wholeness, completeness inside them. And the vision here is just to get that message out to as many people as possible, that they can start to realize what we would call our own basic goodness, and that they could then start to see that in the people around them, the people they love, the people they don't know very well, and even, frankly, in today's world, the people that they disagree with or have a hard time with. So the ultimate vision there is society is made up of me, who's basically good, and you, who's basically good, and all these other people who are basically good. One could argue that society is basically good, even if it doesn't always feel good to us, and it feels aggressive and really hard right now. So it's a different message than what we're seeing in the news and in the world around us, but it's one that I feel like is really important to hear right now.
I'm a big fan of the concept of Namaste and Aloha. And I read this book called Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die. And in it, the author explains that both those words mean my soul in its current condition honors your soul in its current condition. And she interprets that as I am perfect the way I am. You are perfect the way you are. And change or evolution is also perfect. And that process was extremely freeing for me many years ago when I was also trying to figure out how do I fit into this big world? What is my role? What is my value? And it's supposed to be, what's the word for it? Intrinsic. It's supposed to be infinite, yet it's so hard to feel that way sometimes. So Lodro, how did you develop to the point where you decided to dedicate your life to this? What led you to that?
Yeah, I was actually born and raised Buddhist, and I think it's sort of rare for someone to be like second generation Buddhist, Western Buddhist in America, but that was my circumstance. I started meditating when I was 6 years old.
Oh,
My parents just sort of found me sort of facing a wall, which I imagine was creepy for them, and then they asked what was going on. I said, "Oh, I was meditating." And I started meditating. I get this question from parents a lot: how do I get my kids meditating? I started doing it because I saw my parents do it. And that's like the number, and you have kids, like it's that monkey
huge,
see, monkey do thing,
100%.
right? If we meditate, our kids will meditate. And I'm even seeing it with my 2.5-year-old now, that she's more willing to like sit down and take a deep breath and be with me and, sort of sense into presence that way. Anyway, I started at a very young age. I started doing retreats in my teenage years. And then when I was 18, I was at university, and for the first time in my life, I didn't have a Buddhist community. So I started inviting these teachers from outside the college to come lead meditation, and they got sick of the commute. So they were like, "You've done a lot of training at this point. Go do a teacher training." So I started teaching meditation when I was 18 years old, which is a really young age to be doing it. And I didn't do it well for a number of years, to be incredibly explicit. And now I'm 43. So it's been like 25 years, more than half my life teaching this thing. I'm starting to, I would say, get a handle on how to clearly articulate it. But that's the progression. And the vision has just
Wow.
been, it locked in when I first was empowered in that way of like, hey, what if you were the person in the room that actually led this life-changing practice? And once I started doing it, I knew that was what I wanted to do.
I love that. To speak to the parents aspect a little bit, it's so easy as parents to not force your children, but like coerce and to want to like make it happen, and it's like on your timeline, not theirs. And I want to give a big shout out to my own mother, because she, I was raised to pray, and to be religious and all of that. And, I went on a mission. I went through those phases pretty darn well. But it was funny. And I think I was on my mission. I think I was 19 or 20 years old, and I learned to kind of meditate. And I may not have called it that. I don't remember. But point being, I remembered my mom reading her scriptures every night and praying every night. And I had this epiphany, like, how did I not notice that? Like, how did I not pick up and do it myself? Oh, in fact, I was at a friend's house. A friend, he said, "Hey, I'll be right back. I need to go read my scriptures." And I was like, what? Like we were probably 16 or 17 years old. And so that's when it happened. And I was like, okay, go ahead, whatever. And he went and did his thing. And I started to think, and that's when I realized, like, man, my mom's always done this too. How come he picked it up and learned how to do that on his own, but I didn't pick it up and learn how to do it on my own? Right. And I'm so grateful that my mom didn't try to force the issue, right? She always tried to inspire me and encourage me along the way. But I think I would have been more resistant and probably would have delayed my path even further to making the choice to do that. Had she tried to force that upon me, I probably would have felt not good enough. to go back to your point, what you're looking at. So do you want to speak to that a little bit, Lodro?
Yeah, and I mean, you introduced this concept of the trap of doubt at the very top of our time together, and people say, "What was it like growing up in a household where you meditated?" I don't have anything to compare it to. I don't have a second lifetime.
Right.
Or I didn't, but I will say that the thing that felt palpable is that concept of basic goodness. That again, the idea here is that inherently we're whole, complete, good as is. That's a really positive message for anyone to receive, but particularly as a kid. So when something goes wrong, you make a mistake. It's not that you're bad. It's the idea that something bad occurred, but you're still basically good. There's a real backdrop of like you're inherently whole, complete, and that is a really wonderful way to, like, I would say, looking at my kid, build a sense of confidence in them, right? That yes, mistakes happen. That's a part of life. We all have that. I certainly have. And I think that to put that against the backdrop of basic goodness is really powerful. Now, in terms of the trap of doubt, I think the thing that gets a hold of us at a certain point is like a societal whisper in our ear of that you're not good enough. You're not the smartest person in the room. You're not actually good looking. You're not going to get ... the perfect job that you want. You're never going to get married. You're never going to, whatever that voice becomes, and it becomes so insidious. That's what we would call in the Buddhist tradition the trap of doubt. It's like this bear trap that grabs a hold of us, and we start to kick and fight it. But this is where the meditation aspect comes in. It's a great practice that allows us to acknowledge those thoughts and let them go. It's like hitting a release button on that bear trap so that we free ourselves from the trap of doubt and are actually able to come back to that sense of wholeness once more.
Absolutely. Myself, Dan Martell, a lot of the great coaches out there say that entrepreneurship, visionaries, or being a visionary mindset is the greatest challenge that we have. And so we've got to also learn how to use the tools that help us the most with our mindset. And I have found that meditation, prayer, breathing exercises, these things are able to help center me. I'll double down on that too. There's the voices of the world that come at us. But I also believe that there's a great deceiver. There is a Satan. There is somebody who does not want us to succeed, and that person also actively works against us. And plant seeds of doubt and thoughts that perhaps our brain or our systems generate. But for me, it's so important to have as many methods as possible to help me stay focused on my purpose and my visions that are often larger than life. And if I didn't have that, it's like even your loved ones, if you're pursuing something that nobody's ever done before or that nobody's ever seen accomplished, even they will come to you with healthy doubts. You're like, why do you think you can do this? What is it that qualifies you? How are you going to accomplish this without X, Y, or Z, without funding, without time, without blah, 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 blah. Like there's so much there. And so if as visionaries, we don't take the time to understand the strength that comes from these practices of meditation, from mentors who can help us get centered, then we end up putting ourselves in a position of isolation where the voices that outnumber us can very quickly, very easily overwhelm us and make us think that, man, we're not able to do what it is, in fact, that we're called to do. So Lodro, we're going to wrap up right now, but I would love to know, visionaries, there's a button in the top right corner, by the way. You don't have to be a world expert meditation specialist that's had your whole life to figure it out. You don't have to be, I have 2 books out, and I've spoke at the White House and Yellen and elsewhere. You may be at the starting stage of your vision. Come and share it with us on the show. Click the button that says be our guest. Come and do that. As we get ready to wrap up, Lodro, if this was your last chance to share some advice or wisdom with other visionaries out there, what would it be?
I think it's very much what you were just pointing at, which is the view that we hold about ourselves in the world dictates all of our activity. If we hold the view that we're fundamentally broken, or a poverty mentality, if we're not enough, we don't have enough, that will ultimately lead to a lot of activity that stems from that. But if we hold a view of inherently, I'm okay as is in this moment, just taking a breath right now, if you're at home and you can just take a breath with me, in that moment, you realize there's nothing wrong right now. I'm okay right now. And it becomes not a guy on a screen telling you you're basically good. Oh, I have a glimpse of it myself. Can we work from that perspective? I'm basically good. Others are basically good. We can go from there.
I love it. My friends, we are good. We are enough. Keep building your visions. Enjoy the journey as best you can. Celebrate as much as possible. Show gratitude for the good things that you have. These are secrets. They're not commands. They're invitations. And we will see you guys all on the next episode. Find Lodro Rinzler on Amazon, his book. And also, I'm sure you can Google him and find him on social media. People who write books tend to love to mentor and help others. So don't hesitate to reach out if you feel inclined to do so. And we'll see you on the next show. Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a vision pro yourself.